Check, check. All right, we're good. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Welcome back to Noxious Masculinity, where we are waging war against the battle of the sexes. And we're putting an end to the terminology of toxic masculinity. And we do this with communication, understanding, and love. So, a recap of the previous session, we talked about your purpose and relationships. And we also talked about consistency being a key factor in your growth, as well as love being your reason for why you do things in life. And these are the steps that you take in the continual growth process of your masculinity. So once you've been able to work on these things, and those things are an ongoing process, you then move into the next phase of your growth as a man, which is accepting criticism. And in a previous session, we talked about being able to free yourself from the expectations and criticism of loved ones. But when we're talking about accepting criticism at this point, is being able to accept the criticism from the ones that you have around you, because criticism is what allows a man to be able to look at himself and see parts of himself that he's unable to see, and these come from outside sources. And so you being able to accept that is, your capacity to be able to receive this direct criticism, and it's able for you to measure your ability to be able to understand what's going on in your life and where you can improve. And if you are unable to accept the criticism of the ones that care about you, and usually what we're meaning about the ones that care about you is your circle of friends and the masculine energy that you do have around you to keep you sharp. And so what we're saying is that if you don't have a good relationship with masculine energy, and you don't have a good relationship, let's say with your father, then when people go to criticize you and tell you, hey, this is where you could be better at, or this is where you're falling short at, well, then you begin to have a defensiveness about you, and you're unable to, make sense of what it is that they're trying to tell you. And maybe what they're trying to tell you doesn't align with your own vision of yourself, but these things should always be taken into your formula of who it is that you are and what it is that you're trying to be. And so your ability to be able to receive the criticism from the men that are in your life, that are there to sharpen you, is going to help you flourish as a man. And so you have to be acceptive of this criticism. And a healthy way of going about this is, how do you select your friend? What is the company that you keep with yourself? Who are the men that are around you that are able to, penetrate your energy? And a lot of times you have a lot of men that are in your life that are, I guess you could say, nice guys, or men who don't want confrontation. And so they allow you to be whatever it is that you choose to be. And this is a direct result of you not reaching your fullest potential. So being able to operate at full capacity in your masculinity is to be able to have men around you that are capable and willing to let you know where, you're messing up. And so, you never want people in your life, or men that are in your life, that are only going to support you and never challenge your mediocrity that you are living in or operating in. Because throughout life and throughout times, you'll have moments where you're unsure, and you never want people to allow you to stay in that moment of being unsure and not fully fulfilling your purpose. And if you do have issues with being able to, to accept direct criticism from these men that are in your life, well, then you now know that you have to work on some unresolved issues that you have with the masculine energy. And maybe, it has to do with your parenting, your parents and the way that they parented you. And maybe your father wasn't around, or maybe he was there but wasn't available for you. And so these are some things that you can work on, and relationships that you can work on to help resolve your ability to receive masculine energy in your life. And the masculine energy is being direct and letting you know, hey, man, you're messing up here, and this is where you need to be better. So, a goal that you should have for yourself when it comes to being able to accept criticism is to ask your friends, what do they think about you, and what do they think that you could work on or be better at? And from there, you'll be able to understand what type of friends that you do have in your life and which ones are going to be honest enough to tell you the truth. And those are the ones that you should confide in whenever you're having these moments. And you should build the relationship to let them know, hey, whenever you feel like I'm not being the best me, let me know. And you want this in your life to help push you forward and grow. And whatever they tell you, I highly suggest that you get a journal and you write it down and you take note of these things, because this is what's going to propel you forward in your masculinity. Then, after being able to be acceptive of the criticism of the masculine energy in your life, your next step is to free yourself in your being attached to life, meaning that you have to be willing to change any and everything in your life whenever things come to you that are, I guess you could say, hurdles in your life. And sometimes hurdles will come and you've lived a life that has been comfortable, or you've you've worked for things, you've built things up, you've created a lifestyle that you're comfortable with, and now a new hurdle has come. And a true masculine understands that you should never be so attached to the things that you have created in this life, meaning your home, your car, your clothes, where you're not able and willing to let these things go in order to be the best version of yourself. You have to always be willing to detach yourself from the things that you value that are not relationship wise. And a true masculine is prepared to give up 100% of his purpose in order to fulfill his karma. Your karma is going to come to you. The things that have um, made you the man that you are and that are going to make you the man that you're going to be, you will always deal with the consequences of these things in life, good or bad. And you have to be willing to allow your karma to take place in your life. And the only way to be able to do that is to be willing to not be attached to any and everything in your life. And so it's good to create and build, but never attach yourself. And you must be capable of not knowing what to do. And what I mean by this is being able to have moments in your life where things don't go right, or maybe you're dealing with a hurdle and you're not sure of what your next move is going to be. This is when you know that you're finishing off a layer of your karma and you're ready to go to the next stage in your life. And if you're attached to things, you won't allow yourself to get to this point. And this point of unknowingness and waiting for answers to emerge, or visions that you could formulate in your mind to let you know, okay, you know what, I can make this move that's going to make this move that's going to get me into this situation. These moments of unclarity is what allow these visions for your growth to be able to happen. And so you have to be willing to accept these times and be prepared for them. This cycle of growing to something and then plateauing out, or I guess you could say falling, the rise and the fall of life as a masculine is a continual thing. And these things help you fulfill your karma, which help you fulfill who you truly are meant to be. And if you hold these things back, not only will you continuously go through the same things, but it will be it will be harder and harder on your heart. And so that will steal your joy and your ability to give your gift because of the of being repetitive and going through the same thing. You have to allow yourself to grow, and you have to allow yourself to be able to let go of things and create anew. And then after being able to say to yourself, okay, I've gotten to this point and I'm going to essentially let my soul do the guiding for where my next steps are going to be. Then you have to realize that your purpose is always your priority and that your family should never be an excuse of why you don't do that. Meaning you've passed these plateaus and now you're in a state of where you now have a family, you have a wife, you have children, and these things are essential to a man's growth. But at the same time, you never want to let these things become the excuse of why you aren't continuously um, working towards the greatest version of yourself and your purpose, which is your gift of love and whatever your gift is. And if you don't know your purpose and you don't know your gift, like we've said in previous sessions, we highly suggest that you find what it is that you love and that you truly enjoy doing and find your purpose in these things. And when you're able to do that, you'll always have to remember that, yes, taking care of your responsibilities is your priority. Being an available father is a part of these things. Being a willing and open husband to your wife is a part of these things. But these things are never your ultimate priority, because when these things do become your ultimate priority, you basically take away from your inner core of who it is that you are here to be. And so you never compromise your gift for the sake of, uh, you know, I would say maybe pleasing or getting to a point where your family, it's hard to explain of where I don't want to make it seem like your family shouldn't be a priority or come first for you, but your number one priority should be your gift. And as long as you understand this, then you're able to understand that you'll be able to give the fullest of yourself to your family, and your family will be able to receive everything that you're able to give because you're living your fullest self. Living your fullest self is constantly being um, in remembrance of your purpose in life. And to kind of break this down in like simpler terms is saying that, the priority of the feminine, which is in both men and women, the feminine energy is the flow of love and the flow of love in relation. And the priority of the masculine energy, which is in both male and female, is mission, and your mission leads you to your freedom. And when you're able to truly operate in your masculinity, you understand that to be free is when you're at your fullest capacity to give everything that you have to everyone that surrounds you. And when you're operating in your feminine energy, where the flow of the love and relationships is the priority, then you lose that masculinity that you have. And essentially, what happens is the people around you suffer because you're not at your greatest, potential of who you are to the world. And so, the key in all of this is being able to unify and bring together both of these things. And this is why having a woman in your life who understands her femininity is essential to your growth, because these polarities are what allow you to be your greatest self. And when you're able to bring in the femininity that your woman provides, which is the flow of love in the relationship, and you're there being the masculine, which is staying focused on the mission to realize your true freedom. When you unify love and freedom, this is when you are getting to a level of understanding of life that, you know, can't be broken down or taken away from you. And what it does is it allows you to blossom, not only as a being, but a spirit as well. And so, understanding that your role in this life as a masculine is to prioritize your family, yeah. And it is your job to make sure that they are well taken care of and they have a great leader. But in order to be that great leader, you have to have a mind or a vision of the greatest version of yourself that you are always becoming. And this is your number one priority. And, this is 1A and your family is 1B. And when you're able to do this, everyone around you is able to grow and reach their greatest potential as well. And a goal that you should have is being able to, one, understand the masculine energy and understand that your family should never be the excuse of why you don't go out and be the greatest version of yourself, but also understand that in order for you to be the greatest version of yourself, you need a family and you need a woman in your life that can allow you to be and operate in this masculinity. So, a goal for you is to be able to understand that when you're seeking a partner, you should be seeking a partner that is able to fully operate in their femininity and understand that in order for you to be the greatest version of you and the greatest husband and the greatest father and the greatest friend, then you have to be constantly operating in your masculine energy, which is staying focused on your mission to provide your soul this freedom to uh, exuberate everything that is within you. And so, finding a woman that will respect your masculinity and allow your masculinity to flourish is, definitely something that we all dream about, but sometimes we put other things in front of them. We look for women that are the most beautiful, or sometimes we look for women that are the most successful. And I would advise you to find a woman that is, encompasses these things, but the trueness of herself is her femininity, and her femininity is the flowing of love in relationships, be it with you, her family, or the children. And your job as a man is to, you know, I would say, stay constantly aware of the multitude of duties that you have. Understand that your gift is your number one, your family is right there next in line. And as long as you keep these things prioritized, everyone will be able to be successful because of it. Yeah, that's pretty much all that I wanted to talk about today to kind of bring it in to the next session that is going to be happening. But I just kind of want to overemphasize that, when becoming a true masculine, you understand there's an understanding that takes place, which is I do need to be an available father. I do need to be, an available husband or an available son or uncle or whatever these different layers of relationships that are there. But you have to see yourself as an onion that is constantly uh, shedding these layers of who you once were and who you're going to be. And as long as this is your priority, everyone will receive everything that you have to offer. And if you aren't cognizant of this and you get stuck in the moments in the day to days and the skirmishes that you and your significant other go through, then the value of these relationships lose, well, lose their ability to be valuable. I would, and you never want your relationships to not have a significant value. And the way that you do that is by constantly operating in the greatest version of yourself and never let family or outside sources restrict you from going all in on your gift to the world. Uh, so that pretty much ends the session for today. My reaction to the question of the day from the last session was what is privacy in a relationship? And I think, once again, this depends on what type of relationship you have. You should always be looking to build healthy relationships and not relationships that are one sided and one dimensional. And privacy to me is the ability to trust. And to me, I know that, that sounds simple, but to me, the greatest form of privacy is the ability to honor and understand that, yes, we are together, but at the same time, we have to have some sense of individuality of who we are. And we have to be able to trust that individual in who they are. And if you don't trust the person that you're with, male or female, then you'll know that there'll never be a sense of privacy because you'll always be constantly trying to find out what's wrong. And a lot of times these stem from relationships that came before this relationship. Um, you know, a lot of times it actually has to do with the relationship with the mother or the father. And so these are things that you could use in your relationship to work on your relationship. Because if there isn't a certain amount of trust and uh, I would say, like privacy as far as like expectation wise, then your relationship will be hindered. And really, you'll never be able to fully give yourself and your love to each other. You'll constantly be looking to protect yourself. And so, to me, privacy all has to do with trust. And as long as you are in full trust of the person that you are with, then you'll never have to worry about privacy. Uh, so, the next question that we would have is for the question of the day is what expectations um, should be had in relationships, or should there be expectations in a relationship at all? Would love to hear back from you. If uh, have some information on that, please comment it. And you know, the next session, I'll give my answer on what I think about it. But just to summarize everything once again, remember that you have to be accepting of criticism. You have to be willing to change any and everything in your life, no matter what's going on. And your family should never be excused of why you are not pursuing the greatest version of yourself. The book of the day is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and that is written by John Gray. It goes hand in hand with what we're talking about in this session, and I think that it's a great book for both men and women to read, especially as a man, because it helps you not only to understand yourself, but it also helps you to understand um, your lady in your life. And a lot of times that the things that we go through is because of our lack of understanding of the opposite sex. We spend so much time within our own group and we fantasize about the other group, but we never truly understand how the other group operates or what it is that they're thinking. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus is a great book. Help. And lastly, we will do our self affirmations and say it along with me. I am, therefore, I am happy. Therefore, I am loving. Therefore, I am honest. Therefore, I am dedicated. Therefore, I am positive. Therefore, I am favored. Therefore, I am powerful. Therefore, I am wise. Therefore, I am understanding. Therefore, I am purpose. Therefore, I will forgive myself should I come short of my ideals one day at a time. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. If you could please hit the like button if you like. If not, you could always subscribe. And if not, we'll just see you on the next session. Thank you. Hopefully you learned something. Stay suave, stay safe, and we will see you on the next.